Hello, I'm Phantom2502 and welcome back to another episode of Satisfactory 1.1, my tutorial for the progressive build. Last episode we automated our screws and we automated our concrete. Everything's going into bins. We also automated our solid biofuel and have that going into a biomass burner and a bin when it backs up. And we got our chainsaw, but we don't have any fuel for it. Since we have plenty of room left on our capacity for our power, now we're going to automate our wire, get that done from our copper, because for logistics we have to make 300 wire, and I really don't feel like doing that manually. So we're going to get that done. So in order to get that done, let's go here and see what we need. We need one miner, one smelter to put that into copper ingots, and one constructor to put that into wire. And we don't have to worry about a portable miner because we have one on our copper that we are going to use. So let's do the reinforced iron plates. And we're going to have to make some cables. Quite a few cables. I'd say 25 is good enough. Alright, and let's go get that done. Alright, take a power line. As you see, after a little bit out of the 4, it'll get too long. So we'll just put it as far as we can go. Take another one, and click the power pole. Using power lines, you get kind of an extension. Put our second one over here. We will pick up our portable miner, and we're going to make our miner, and we're going to send it right towards our stuff over there. Good for us. And might as well power it up. Alright, production, smelter. We'll line it up. We got to make room for 2 splitters for later. So let's put it out decently far enough so we can do that later on. Yeah, it should be enough room for 2 splitters later. Alright, power. We'll bring that right in front here. Put that to our smelter. Set the recipe to copper ingot, because copper ore is going to be turned into copper ingots. And then we're going to put our constructor in front of it, because it's going to need the copper ingot that's being produced. We need some room in front of it for splitting. So since it's a bit of an incline here, we'll put this here and have it go down like that. I guess we can send a power line, make that go there. Obviously we got to set this to wire. That's going to work, copper ingot to wire, and then we got to store the thing so we get more than one stack. And there. There we go. And then that should be making our wire and going into a container for us. And that'll help us because we can make cables out of wire and we don't have to now do this process. Now, I did keep some on me because it's going to take a while to do 300 wire. So in the meantime, let's, for the last time, manually do the remaining copper ore that we just got into copper ingots and over to wire. It'll help it along. Hold on, I just thought of something. How's this doing? Oh, it's backed up. Hold on. Do we have anything in here? We have a stack of 50. Okay. We'll take 51. We can right click to go in half. And we'll right click the 20. Maybe I should have did the 26. Because that splits into 2 evenly. Alright. 13 apiece. We'll switch this in for 13. I know that's going to run out a lot quicker. But it also means we can put those biomass into solid biofuel while we're crafting. And it keeps a bit for ourselves for fuel Now, for our chainsaw, we have 25 solid biofuel. Hopefully 13 is going to be enough to handle our stuff, at least until we got this done. Alright, it'll be nice not to have to manually craft this anymore. After this, I guess the only thing we have to manually do is cable and reinforced iron plate. And cable we will automate after we unlock our logistics. So it'll just be reinforced iron plate after that. Which we can't do in the constructor because it needs 2 inputs. It will need a more advanced building for automation. Alright, because I only have 13 in here. Let me check in on it. 10. Oh, okay. It's not going down that fast. That's good. Alright, probably have time to get our wire over. Alright, that works out. What are we down to in here? 9. Another 80. Alright. Let's split the stack. By the way, we can... actually, you know what? We'll do a hold split. If you hold right-click, you can split it into 2 different stacks of different sizes, not just half. So let's keep, let's say, 30 for us. And we'll split the 76 in 2 and shove that into the machine. And that'll have it run for longer. And the 30 we'll use for our chopping, for fuel for our chainsaw. Okay, let's go see if everything's been done. We manually made 200 wire. How's the automation doing? 138. That works fine. And then we do need some plates and some rods. Plates are doing fine. Oh yeah, we have plenty of plates. Rods are the only thing. Only 4 backed up there. Alright, we do need 150, so let's take a bit out of here. Alright. So, yeah, a lot of things are being done. So we're not getting much rods at the moment because a lot of it's being used for screws, and it's only backing up 5 a minute. So you can get the rods out of the stack for the screws, and it will keep going when it gets more rods. Don't have to worry about that. We do need to increase production, but we'll do that once we have logistics. Alright. So, oh yeah, right. Research is over here. Alright, 150. And there we go. Logistics are coming in.
Milestone reached. Conveyor belts can now merge, split, and lift to save space and enhance the productivity of your factory. Fixit encourages you to consider investing in verticality when it comes to factory logistics. If you feel stressed by this complexity, imagine yourself on the shore of a vast and calm ocean. Breathe in. Visualize all the people relying on you. The sea is made of billions of faces, each staring at you with hope and tears in their eyes. Breathe out. Feel refreshed and focused on your duties.
Alright, so now we're going to pick what our next thing is. And the next thing I'd like to unlock is Logistics Mark II. Mostly so we get this stackable conveyor pull so we can finally organize our containers into their permanent locations and nicely organized belts that we can stack on top of each other instead of having it look horrible. Also, the Conveyor Mark II is nice to have for certain areas that will need that. So we'll select that milestone as our next thing. Let's see, our next build is mostly going to be automating cable. Now that we have splitters and mergers, that's easier. And then we're just going to expand the concrete a little bit more and expand the iron rods a bit more. As we saw, we didn't really have many backing up. So now we have splitters and mergers, we can do that a lot easier. Obviously for power for all this expansion, we're going to need another biomass burner. And now that we have a splitter, we can make that pretty easily too. Alright, so power is going to be a biomass burner. We're going to need 3 smelters for this step and 8 constructors. Alright, so now we just need to manually do our reinforced iron plates. And manually do cables still. We don't have that automated. And I need more wire. Alright. And obviously I need to make more cable than it says. I have more power, some more wire along, but let's make more cable than we need. We can always get more wire by just getting it out of the bin, so cable is really what we do need a bit over. Say 90 cable. Alright, and I guess we need more iron plate as well. We need more screws. Okay. We also need more wire. But we'll get the wire after. Alright, screws. Stack of 500. Sometimes I like to do the sort every once in a while. There's sort, keep things organized. Alright, reinforced iron plates. Alright, and we'll need some wire. Hopefully we have more than 49 over here. And there we go, 40. Well, not quite enough, but we can come back. So then we're going to start automating our cable. Now, I could just put it right in front of our wire, but we kind of want wire and cable. So we'll create a whole new line. Now we noticed we have 120 coming out of here, and this only needs 30 per minute. So there's a lot more here, and the belt's 60. So until we get Mark II belts, which we'll unlock next. So until then, this belt is 60. This could take 30. You can do math by pressing N. This search doubles as a calculator, so we can do 60 divided by 30, and you can see it equals 2. So I could split this into 2 smelters, which we'll do. Let's line it up. And yellow just means that the blocks is kind of in something. So its box is just overlapping this power thing, but that's fine. Change that to copper ingot. And then we're going to do logistics, and we have these mergers and splitters, so obviously we're going to split this into 2. They will automatically split evenly. So it's going to split 30 on each side. And we'll put that into here. And then we got to power it up. Which is why we did our power poles the way we did separately. Because we're planning for this future step. So now 60 on the line is going to be split into 2 30s. That's going to be running these at 100%. And now this has 30 output of copper ingot. As we notice for the wire, it takes 15. So if we press N and do 30 divided by 15, we get 2 again. So that means we can split this into 2. So let's create 2 constructors beside this one. 1, 2, whoa. 2. Yeah, I guess it could go a little bit into the wall, or whatever. Things clip. I don't care too much about that. Alright, let's take our conveyor belt and put it into this one. And then we can take our splitter and put it on that conveyor belt and split it over here. Now, to power the things, let's take our power line, take that, put a power pole in the middle of these two. 1 and 2. Right, we also have to set the recipe. E wire and E wire for this one. Now we have 2 things of wire, each one coming out at 30 per minute. Now we need wire to make cable. So let's put another constructor in front of it. Say maybe more lined up with the first one. And it's going to be cable. Cable needs 60 wire minutes. So if you do N again and do 60 divided by 30, we need 2 constructors of wire to be merged in to make a full thing of cable, 60 to make 30 cable. So that's going to require a merger. So we'll put this conveyor from here to here, and then we'll use a merger, put that there, and merge the other line in. And then this will be making cable at its full amount, 30 per minute. Of course, only once I add power to it. Take the power pole there, add it to the machine, and now we're going to be making cable, and everything's doing everything efficiently. For the most part, at least in this part of the line. Over here, we could technically be making more wire. At the moment, let's add a storage container. Put that a little bit further ahead. And let's put a belt and put it in. So now we have automated our cable. Since we do need more wire for this project, might as well do that. Now we're going to be just upgrading more of our systems to get more things done faster. So the one thing we can do is we notice we can use this smelter can split into 2 things. So let's get that done. So we can even put another one here. I guess not. Alright, well, we'll put it where we can. Alright. Merger. Will that even work? Oh, I guess it does. Alright. We'll merge all our wire into there. Now these will be doing, we'll do another thing of wire. 30 minute, 30 plus 30, 60. Each belt, as we can see if we hover on this, transports up to 60 resources per minute, as you saw on the right hand side. When you hover over the conveyor belt, transport up to 60 resources per minute on the right side. Used to move resources between buildings. So 60 is the most, at least until we get Mark II, which does faster. Alright, in order to do that, we got to split. So we're going to do another splitter. And wherever this can turn, there we go. And go off of this side and into there. And power. Need a power line. This one into that one. So now we've got 60 wire minutes being used, and everything here is basically working everything as fast as we can. So we're going to do 60 wire minute and 30 cable minute. Alright, let's move on to concrete. We can make that a little bit faster. Actually, while we're here, let's see how this is all going. Biofuel. Oh yeah, we do need to expand our biomass. I forgot about that before we smack our grid. Yeah, figured the fuse is going to blow eventually. Let's say that works well. Let's put a splitter. Ooh. Yeah, we're going to have to line that up decently well, aren't we? Oh yeah, it's going to be coming in from this way. How's that going to work for belts? No, it works there. Okay, I guess that does work there. Alright. That goes in there. This run out? No, it didn't. It must have broken because... Right, see, our max consumption is 76, and our capacity was 70. So, before adding all that to the network, I should have expanded our power grid first. Alright, so I'm going to have to add this to the network. And then hopefully that'll make things better. Now our capacity is 100. And we're only using 76. Okay, so now we have room for expansion. Okay, good. And these things had 25 left. Alright, so we're good for now. Alright, now that that's doing okay, let's get some more concrete done. Alright, let's put a constructor right beside this one. The reason we're doing this is right now we have 45 going into 15, and with our maximum 60, we could have it split a little bit and get 20 out. So let's do a splitter right there. Let's put another splitter here. We can put splitters on the ground. Kind of want to line it up a little bit with this one. Alright, that works out. And that works out. Alright. And for power, we should use another pole because we're at 3. We'll add this to here. And we've got to change the recipe to concrete. Now we do want them both going into this container. So let's merge the outputs using a merger. We'll line it up somewhere over here. The output's going to be going down the hill. And we'll take that one. Whoa. This one, put it into here. This one, put it into here. And then the output's going to go into our container down there. And now we're going to have 5 more concrete per minute being made. So now let's expand our iron. As you can see, both these are 120 per minute, but the belt's 60. And each of these is 30. So really, one of these can do both of them. So let's, for now, cancel these out. And we can put a splitter. Let's put that in front of this. Have that one go over here. And have this one go over here. Yeah. Alright, since we noticed we were running low on iron rods, let's increase our iron rod production. And we can put, obviously, 2 more smelters, because then we can get this stuff coming out of here into two smelters. As we know, we can do that. We're going to do iron ingots for these ones, and we're going to do a splitter in front of it, and use control to line it up. And we did the recipes already. I could put the iron that I got off the belt in one of them, because we don't really need to do manual stuff with the iron ore anymore. And we'll have this belt come over from the miner to get this miner running. Also, it'd help if I actually powered these things. Move the power pole over, 1 and 2. Now, let's put 2 constructors beside here. One, and control to line it up, and when you're on ground and not on foundations, you can just be close enough. Right, I'm down really bad on cable. Okay, well, these two are going to both be iron rods. So we can make more iron rod production. But I gotta go get some cable. And that's being made here. Ooh, a stack of 200. Nice. Alright. Did we set the recipe for these? Yes, we did. 15, 15. Alright. So I guess we don't really need the extra smelter for now. Right, part of the reason I wanted some extra space in here was to have enough room for these. Put that one beside that one. A little bit further, I guess. Really? I didn't really leave enough space there, did I? make this closer? I guess I can. Yeah, that's got less clipping for later. Alright. Put it into there. Put our leftover ingots, because we don't need it. Power. Let's see. That. So there. And then we're just going to reorganize a little bit of our things here. We're just going to eliminate the rods for now. And we'll eliminate this container for now. We get everything in our inventory for that. Alright, for now we're going to put a splitter here. That's going to be used for later. But it's useful to put it now. There we go. The belt into here. We're going to change this recipe over to our iron plates. So this way we get more iron plates and more iron rods. This could have a merger. Head out left. And then we're going to have our container temporarily rearranged to go there. And then we'll put a second container beside it for our iron rods. For now, that will take all the plates and go there. Alright, rods. We'll do a merger. And we merger with the second one here. We'll merge two in. We'll put one more constructor. I think that's the 8th one. Hold on, how's our power grid doing? We're at 96. Okay, we can do one more constructor. Oh, it goes the other way. Inputs, obviously. And this would be another screws. And that will be a splitter for our screws. Not quite lining up. I hope things work out. No, that's not going to work out. Yeah, we might have to delete some things for now. Rebuild them. Alright, let's just put our splitter right in front of here. Whoa, that's weird. Nope, not what I wanted. Okay, did I mess that up? I think I did. A splitter. Oh, I messed up my merger. Darn it. I want the, sorry, it's a merger. And I want the output to go to the right. Splitter. And then I can put both screw constructors back. Alright, these are both screws. And I'm doing power lines this way for later because there will be a machine on this side of the screws. Obviously for the screws, we're going to need a merger. And we'll put it, yeah, over here and have it go right. There we go. And that goes there. Obviously this will go for screws. And then when it backs up, we do need an overflow for our rods. Now we have this conveyor lift, which we put at the end. You click once and then make it go as high as you want. Use the scroll wheel to change it direction. We're going to have it go this way. This is going to go all the way over here into our rod overflow. Yeah, we do have a little bit of clipping, but you have to remember all these things are temporary for now. And our fuse blown. Well, that's great. Did I run out of... Yeah, I ran out of fuel in the manuals. Okay. And there's nothing in there. That's not good. Okay, let's gather all these. We can split it into... Well, there's nothing more out of here, is there? No. Okay. So let's split it into... let's see. How much of it is there? 100. Okay, way enough. All right. I'll split it into 50s, I think. And then I think for the manuals, no, but we'll maybe split into 50 again. Right click that, 50 there, 50 here. These ones are going to burn a bit faster because of 30 per minute. And since we don't have any more coming in, I think maybe a bit more into these. I'll split it one. I'll split that one into maybe 22 apiece. There we go. That should keep it going for a little bit. Alright. And leaves us a little bit to do our obstacle clearing later. Alright, and that's running at full capacity. Capacity and max consumption are going to be equal now. Alright, that is, I think, the automation, everything done for this round. I don't think we've increased this much, because 30 minus 15, yeah, okay, moved from 10 to 15. Screws are going up to 60 a minute. These are now like 30 a minute, I think. No, 40 a minute. Alright, so now let's just get our stuff for what we need finally. We got enough plates. Don't have enough rods. Yeah, still need a little bit more rods. That's fine. Concrete. And we need some screws to make the reinforced iron plates, which we're going to have to do by hand. Some screws. There we go. This episode's a little bit longer than the last ones, but we're just going to finish up the Logistics MK2, and we'll call it at the end of the episode. Two, 23. Come on. It would be nice. Yeah, right now the only thing we have to really manually do is biomass and reinforced iron plates. It would be nice to automate the reinforced iron plates. The biomass will eventually not need to do that anymore. But for the moment, and we definitely need to get some obstacle clearing as we have no more, we're kind of short on solid biofuel, so we do definitely need to get more supply. There we go, 50. Let's put everything in. And we do need a little bit more. Okay. I'm going to need some actual... Let's just grab it out of here. Alright.
Milestone reached. Fix-It would like to remind you of your contractual obligation towards efficiency. Recreational use of belts and lifts does not count towards work hours and will put you on the list. Stay efficient, don't disappoint Fix-It.
Alright, so we're going to end the episode there. We've increased our capacity for iron rods, iron plates, added some cable. All of our base stuff is automated. Now that we have stackable poles with Mark II, next episode we're going to concentrate on getting rid of our temporary locations for all these containers and putting the containers in nice, organized fashion right near our hubs for easy access of all our base materials. As well, we unlocked conveyor Mark II, which Mark II transports 120 resources per minute, and some of the things can be upgraded to that for better efficiency. Anyway, I am Phantom2502, and join me next time as we organize our containers. Bye-bye.